But I'm going to begin, Ethan. I mean, I was lucky enough to spend some time with Paul in Toronto last year. I interviewed him and Cedric for this movie, and he's quite a character with some incredible stories. I mean, what's he like to collaborate, and particularly on a project like this, which is quite a unique movie for him, I suppose?
Well, it's unique in that I think he feels a sense of completion. He feels like he's come full circle. I mean, this film is so clearly it's like a sibling of Taxi Driver, and yet it's, got his Taxi Driver was his first film. This is his latest film. It's, all these years later, and it's more mature, just as angry, more experienced. He's, I think it's you're meeting an artist who's in full handles of their gift, So, but what's he like to work with? He's an intense dude. He can forget to say good morning, and he can forget to say good night. And I felt I was in the presence of somebody who was really there to work. And all right, we're going. Let's go. And we had 12 hours. Let's go. Let's make a movie. Let's make it great.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
And I mean, the film kind of scrutinises over the kind of religion versus science debate as well. I mean, there's that incredible scene, that sort of quite lengthy scene, that conversation between yourself and Phillip, which effectively is pitting one character's faith against the global warming kind of conversation. I mean, that's quite a fascinating territory to explore, isn't it, on screen? And what was that scene like to film? It almost felt akin to a stage play. It allowed you so much freedom, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it's just beautifully written, and you rarely see... I mean, both those characters are in such pain, and they're reaching out looking for help, and they only have each other. And it's an amazing power that Paul has, which is that most movies try so hard to tell you exactly what to feel and what to think, and he just sits back and makes you watch these people and think about these ideas, and it kind of lights a fuse underneath the film that you feel burning. That connection these two guys have. I mean, of course, I'm the counselor, and I'm in as much grief as he is for different things, and it's a complicated scene, but one of my favorite I've ever done.
What would you say is the favorite? Have you got a favorite scene you've ever shot, would you say?
Oh, there's a bunch. There's some... Robin Williams was the first kind of great scene I ever had, was in front of a classroom in Dead Poets Society. I sound my barbaric yawp over the rooftops of the world. Had some great times with Denzel. I loved working with Sally Hawkins. There's so many. I mean, my brain spins. Usually the last thing, that's how pathetic people are, right? I mean, the thing I'm most excited always about is the thing I did yesterday or tomorrow.
And because I mean, in this movie, I mean, there is so much going on in your character's head. He's got this internal conflict kind of weighing him down at all times. Was it quite an emotionally exhausting piece? Was it one of those films that was quite difficult to shake off at the end of a day's shoot?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about a movie is you kind of don't have to shake it off. The way the world has come, it's like a sprint. If you're doing a play, there's jobs that are a marathon, but this was about couple weeks of rehearsal and 25 days of shooting, and you just kind of go into Paul's world and try to live in it and come out the other side.
And I mean, because you're an actor who's almost impossible to define, and I mean that in a great commendation in the sense that we can never second guess what you're going to do next. I mean, is that a conscious decision on your part? Are you always actively looking for different roles and different genres, or do you just follow the best stories and the best screenplays and just kind of see where the wind blows?
You're following your nose. I often, the expression I use, I sometimes feel like a cat. I'm just trying to stay on my feet. And sometimes I'll read something that's really good, but it's too much like something I just did. But mostly, you just move with the river, right? Life presents these opportunities to you, and when you're lucky, you're mentally ready for what comes in front of you, like this script, and then when it's not, you have to be patient.
And just finally, before I came here today, I was just speaking to my dad and said I'm interviewing Ethan Hawke today. And he said, make sure you ask about the Before franchise. I said, I'm not just going to ask you. He probably gets asked that all the time. But here I am doing my dad proud.
Yeah.
I mean, when does
I like your dad already.
When do those conversations traditionally start taking place? Obviously, they're sort of 9 years apart. Is that something you've discussed yet? Do you think there might be another one? And if so, when does it usually start beginning to take shape?
Usually takes shape around now, about 5 years after the one before it, is how it kind of collected like a cloud. And then the cloud gets thicker and thicker until it rains, right? You know, and I don't know this time. That's how it worked before. I don't know what the future will hold. Everybody's lives keep changing. You know, Julie's directing a lot of movies now, and Rick is a big shot now, and so whether or not the stars will align for us to spend a couple of years writing together or not, I don't know. What happened with the other films is kind of mysterious to me, that when we met to talk about it, we all wanted to write the exact same movie. We had the same movie in our heads. And I have a slight suspicion that won't happen again, or it's too much to ask of the universe.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for your time today. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Tell your dad I say hi.
I will. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!